What's up, everybody? My name is John Oakes. I'm a weight loss coach. I lost 200 pounds and I'm here to help you do the same or lose 30 or 40, whatever. But today I want to talk about a very important question, a question that gets asked a lot on YouTube, especially this time of year. People want to know how to lose weight fast. They want to know the fastest way to lose weight. I completely understand, because when you want something done, you want it done now, right? And a lot of videos like this on YouTube tend to just throw cold water on the idea of losing weight for very good reason. But if you watch all the way to the end, I'm gonna offer you some real tips that should help you speed up your weight loss as best as possible. But first off, we have to talk about the warnings, right? If you try to go on a crash diet, the chances of success are infinitesimal. Losing weight is very possible that way, but keeping it off is a whole other thing entirely. Trust me, I've done it all. And I have stronger willpower than you. If you're white knuckling this stuff without going through the corresponding internal change that successful weight loss sees, you're just gonna go back to your old habits because you haven't changed the way you relate to yourself. You haven't changed the internal systems that got you to where you are now. So if I wave a magic wand and take 100 pounds off your frame, what's gonna end up happening is, in most cases, a weight rebound. Now, I wouldn't wish that on you. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I've been through it. I lost 100 pounds, gained 200 after that, right? Ask me how I lost 200 pounds. Ask me how I gained 200 pounds. By losing 100 and by motivating it through a lot of negative emotions, self-hatred, saying I'm not worthy of love until I'm this weight. I'm not worthy of this until I'm at my goal weight. Oh, I got to get to my goal weight so that I can feel good. Wrong, 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 wrong. If you watch the other videos in my channel, you'll see that I strive to provide people with support, help them build wholeness inside themselves, help them find connection with their true self, the self that wants to be fit, that never wanted to be super overweight, that likes some kind of activity and enjoys real food. And that person can lose weight quite easily. A lot of people think that weight loss has to happen very quickly because they're used to thinking of it in terms of suffering. And again, what if I told you weight loss could be easy? It could be enjoyable. It could be a journey that you look back on with like warm, fuzzy feelings. That's a weight loss that's gonna continue. That's success that's gonna continue to replicate itself, not only in maintaining your weight loss success, it's gonna ripple off into other parts of your life. You're gonna be more financially successful. Your relationships are gonna thrive. This is what the wholeness first approach to weight loss provides. I promised you actual strategies though, so here we go. Caveats aside, if you are looking to lose weight as fast as possible, here are the hard and fast truths. These are short-term solutions. These are things you need to talk to your doctor about. When it comes to cranking up the intensity of your weight loss program, realize that weight loss over 1 or 1.5% of your body weight is going to be worthless to you. That is all going to be lean mass. That's not what you want to lose, right? You literally can't lose 10 pounds of fat in a week. It just doesn't work like that. And that's just the cold hard truth, right? So if you're very overweight, you can safely lose 1.5% of your body weight a week, which is a lot. I mean, if you're 300 pounds, that's 4.5 pounds a week. And most of that can come from fat, if you're smart. If you're more looking to lose 30, 40 pounds, you want to probably stick closer to that 1%. But that stuff adds up so fast. If you're losing 2, 3, 4 pounds a week, man, that's really fast. That's lightning fast. And you're going to be at your goal before you know it. Cutting carbs isn't actually the magical answer. A lot of people go straight to cutting carbs. Very few people actually truly lose fat faster when they're on low carbs. But most of the speedy weight loss you're seeing when you're in a very low carb state is water weight. The only time that a low carb diet is helpful is if you're basically trying to use that to leverage your appetite and whatnot. If that keeps your appetite low, to just focus on protein and fat, and that helps you crank your calories really, really low, and you still have energy to work out and move around and not just be a slug all day. The same principle applies to intermittent fasting. For a lot of reasons, I prefer intermittent fasting. Going without food entirely forces you to reevaluate your relationship to food as well. So fasting can be kind of a spiritual experience. It can be a growing experience. You're not just limiting the hours in the day where you're taking in calories, you're increasing the number of hours in the day where you're not using food to mitigate your own feelings. You're actually able to say, oh, I'm having an emotion right now. and I just had an impulse to go to the fridge. And since I'm not eating right now until noon or whatever, I guess I will sit here and actually see this emotion, feel it, and process it, which is what we're made to do. And this is one of the biggest reasons for health issues, because in a world of plentiful food, we can confuse a lot of emotions for hunger. So intermittent fasting provides not only an opportunity to lower calories really significantly, if not drastically, it does provide this sort of spiritual benefit, this growth benefit as well. There's something called a protein sparing modified fast, which if you don't want to intermittent fast, it's a pretty wild way of dieting because it involves basically only eating protein and veggies. Your fat levels are low, too low, right? There's a guy named Lyle McDonald. He wrote a book about this. I've done diets similar to this. I've had success on them, and I've also abused it, and I've paid the price, believe me. So protein sparing modified fast can be a very effective kickstart to a diet. You know, hey, if you're 500 pounds and your doctor signs off on it, something like this might help you shed a lot of weight and get the ball rolling for you. Eventually, I do recommend that if you use these things to kickstart your weight loss, that you get into a more moderate and sustainable approach. A lot of these things, no matter how hard you white knuckle them, you push them to a certain level, and then where do you go? If you intermittent fast until you're only eating one meal a day, then what? You just stop eating altogether? You do prolonged fasts? And I guess we should talk about that. You know, there's the classic just don't eat. Some people call that anorexia. Other people call that fasting. I do not think that prolonged fasting is necessarily a eating disorder. Is it quicksand for people who are on the edge of having an eating disorder? Yeah, potentially. And so is any form of extreme dieting. Any wild swings in how you relate to food can get caught up in your anxieties and your issues and take you down a very slippery slope. I have enjoyed prolonged fasts up to 72 hours. I've done back-to-back 72-hour fasts, separated just by one low-carb meal. Long term, I have very mixed feelings about them as far as actually using them to lose weight. I have clients who do 24, 48-hour fasts here and there because it works with their lifestyle. A lot of people, they go on a 48-hour fast and they do not know how to eat moderately, right? That's why they thought they had to go on this extreme diet. Well, when the diet's over, which set of impulses is ready to take over? The impulses toward health and moderate eating that you don't have right now, or the classic impulses you have to eat your way out of every uncomfortable feeling. Personally, I am a fan of prolonged fasting more for the internal benefits, to teach your body that every hunger pang isn't a 5-alarm fire, right? It's okay to be hungry. You're not, as long as your doctor signs off on it, you're not gonna die from not eating. For someone like me, who's always been a big guy, just big physically, 6'4", always big boned. My body's always asking for food. It's incredibly freeing to know that you can skip a meal and it's not the end of the world. Like, if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, maybe that's not optimal. But for most people in most contexts, learning to be friends with hunger is so empowering. And that's the biggest benefit of playing around with intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting, or even some of these other more extreme forms of dieting. You're gonna be hungry on a protein sparing modified fast. And to some extent, if you go into these extreme forms of dieting with the express purpose of, hey, I'd like to lose as much weight as possible, but I also want to improve my awareness of my eating. I want to connect more with what I actually need. I want to use this process of being without to connect with what truly makes me me. When I take out the foods that characterize my normal eating patterns, all I'm left with is kale, chicken breast, and myself. And most people don't want to have that conversation. They do most of the things they do in life to avoid seeing themselves because they fear it. They fear that it's darkness because they don't understand it, but it's dark and they don't understand it because they don't invest the time to feel what they feel and to be truly with themselves. This is why so many people were freaking out during the pandemic and lockdowns, because they were in some senses forced to confront the reality of their lives and their internal state. And you hear a lot of people who were moaning the loudest about that tell you that it was actually it was a time of suffering, but in a way they're glad they went through it because they realized that that conversation with themselves was very valuable. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna do this extreme diet because I'm gonna get the weight off lickety split and then I'm gonna be super hot and then I'll be able to love myself, wrong. If you go into an extreme diet saying, I need to have some time to think about my relationship to food, I need to abstain from certain foods, certain food groups for a time, as long as your doctor signs off on it, and you go into it with the approach of, I'm looking to rebuild a true connection with myself by removing certain foods or certain calories or eating at certain times of day, that can be a very fruitful practice. You know, people have done extreme diets for thousands of years. Most of humanity would be considered an extreme diet. Like, do you think Paleolithic peoples, right, 8,000-9,000 years ago, who were anatomically exactly the same as us, mentally just as capable, just as complex, the only difference was the technology present in their lives. Do you think these people were sitting down to 3 square meals a day? No, you get up, there's no food, so you got to go get the food, right? Is that an extreme diet? Is that anorexia? No, it's just how we evolved. We evolved to be able to go hunt food very effectively even when we're hungry. Like, your body has systems in place to allow you to harness energy, stored fat, ketone bodies, really cool stuff. You're not doing it to go hunt a mastodon. You're doing it to fit into a certain bikini so that you can feel good about yourself. And that's a trap because you're good enough now. And if you weren't good enough now, you wouldn't deserve the weight loss. But you are worth weight loss. And that's why ultimately you are worth the slow and steady approach, the approach of least resistance, the easy, flowy path toward a much healthier, more vibrant version of yourself. So keep watching my videos, subscribe to the channel, head over to the Facebook group, Lose Weight with John, for no cost support. You can post in the group, ask questions, tell us about your progress, what worked for you, what didn't. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you can email me at johnoakescoaching@gmail.com. That's Oaks with an E. If you enjoyed this content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel, like and comment the videos, comment for the algorithm. It really helps other people find these videos, especially if they are looking for a way to change their lives without resorting to extremes and staying on the hamster wheel of failure. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.